Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines, and I'm with Living the One Light. And I'm really looking forward to, in this video, dropping into the energetic, not surprisingly, very powerful energetic of the full moon that we're going to be having in Scorpio on April 23rd, 2024, or April 24th, depending on where you are in the world. And when I first really dropped into the energy of this full moon, I saw that it is very powerful. And we've just come out of the, off the chart powerful solar eclipse that we had on April 8th. I'm making this video on April 15th. And so my honest reaction when I saw how powerful this full moon was I just felt tired. I felt like, I don't really, want to make like hype about yet another astrological event. And so I feel I'm just sort of laughing at myself, and I just want to acknowledge that's how I feel, because I'm guessing it's a reflection of how maybe many of us are feeling, that the intensity of some of the energies lately have been so strong that maybe it's just me, but that I have a guess that maybe many of us have a feeling like, okay, I'm ready for things to be a little simpler or calmer. And so I don't feel like the energy of this upcoming full moon is, as off the chart at all. Definitely not as that eclipse, but I do want to acknowledge it is a very powerful energy. And so it's also incredibly beautiful. And what I'm feeling called to talk about is really the ways in which the energy of the full moon feels to me like it is a support for us. It's like building on these energies that have come before it, including the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is going to be happening on April 20th or 21st, depending on where you are in the world. So just 3 days before this full moon. So I'm going to drop into the energy of the full moon, but I'm also going to contextualize the bigger picture and what I'm being asked to bring through from the spirit world about all of it. And I'm also going to weave in some of the energies of the constellations of where the full moon and the sun are going to be, because it's just so beautiful. So, and before I say any of that, if you have not yet signed up for the free gathering that I'm having on Friday, this coming Friday, April 19th, please sign up. Again, it's totally free. And if you're hearing this video after the 19th of April, 2024, you're welcome to still sign up. It's going to be recorded. You please sign up even if you can't be there live. And also if, it's already passed and you just want to hear the recording. So the theme of that gathering is actually so tied into the theme of what I'm going to talk about in this video. Not surprisingly, the theme of that free gathering is becoming or rebecoming the divine tuning fork that is you. So, and the big theme that I'm going to be dropping into about this full moon is the ways in which the energetic of the full moon, I feel, is supporting us to really more and more deeply release whatever we are ready to release, to truly be held in that energetic of ourselves as the divine tuning fork. So more on that as we go along in this video, but let me show you first the actual chart of the full moon. And then I'm going to show you where in the sky the sun and the moon are going to be. And then I'm going to drop into some of these themes I'm talking about here. So here is the chart of the full moon, and this, more the two-dimensional version, right? Okay, so here is the moon. It's going to be at 4 degrees, 18 minutes of Scorpio, opposite the sun at 4 degrees, 18 minutes of Taurus. And here is why I say this is just undeniably a powerful full moon. It just is. Because, and I'm sure there's more to this, but among other things. So the moon again is in Scorpio, which means that it's ruled by the modern ruler is Pluto, which is here. And Pluto happens to not only be the ruler of the full moon, but also is squaring the moon and the sun on this full moon. So Pluto is very powerfully placed just because it's squaring the sun and the moon on this full moon, but also it's double that power because it is the ruler of the moon. Okay, so just on this basic level, one thing that immediately arises for me when I feel into the energetic of this full moon is with such a strong Plutonian and Scorpionic energy. I mean, it's just so clearly an energy that's helping us to support, one more layer of releasing, letting go of the deep seated things that are just ready to be released. So that's on the most basic kind of stereotype level. But here are the much deeper levels of that for me, given the context of where this full moon is happening in, more of the cycles of time right now. So like I said, we just last week had the second of the 2 eclipses of our eclipse season this spring. The second one was on April 8th. It was that super powerful eclipse that happened at 19 degrees of Aries, exactly, precisely conjunct Chiron in Aries with this retrograde Mercury conjunct Erisina in Aries, etc. I mean, there was so much going on that solar eclipse. Then, so that was April 8th. Then coming up this weekend, April 20th, is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And then 3 days later is this full moon. Okay, so this full moon is following right up with, from the eclipses, the energies of the eclipses, and then the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. It's the next main event, I guess you could call it, right after those humongous astrological happenings that everybody is talking about. And that solar eclipse on April 8th, and then the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on April 20th are probably the 2 most powerful events astrologically of all of 2024, just looking at it from a stereotypical kind of way. But and they happen to both fall, in April 2024. So it's just a very powerful month. But then this full moon immediately follows them. Okay, so what does that mean? What am I feeling in that? So what the main thing I feel that I'm feeling called to talk about in this video, but again, there's infinite layers to all of it. So I'll just stick to this one theme because that's what the spirit world is telling me to do. So I shall. One of the big themes of the eclipses, and then also this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, is that on many levels and in many different ways, we are being supported to come into the true essence, the true soul song that is ourselves. The true essence of ourself as, again, this divine tuning fork of the divine, of source, of our own being, of our own soul. And, I've said this in many other videos, we've been living for a long time, a very long time, in this time of forgetting. And now we've switched into a time of remembering. And as we switch into this time of remembering, a big part of the switch is letting go of the forgetting, right? And so one of the components of the forgetting has been that we have in various ways had our voices silenced or shame, made to feel ashamed, or we've felt shame, we felt guilt, we felt all kinds of things around knowing and being the true voice and the true essence of our soul song that we are. So these eclipses and then the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction absolutely on so many levels are supporting us to come back into to release anything that is not that soul song that is ourselves, and to sing as the being that is us. And again, that free gathering that I'm doing on Friday, April 19th, is I'm going to be channeling something that's wanting to come through about really holding us in the energetic of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, to come into that soul song that is us. But then 3 days later, we are going to be having this full moon in Scorpio. So in a way, it almost feels premature to even speak about this full moon, because we haven't crossed that threshold of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and that whatever's wanting to come through in that channeling, I feel like is, kind of in a sense, a precursor to whatever is going to be alive at the time of this full moon. But I'm feeling called to talk about the full moon in this video beforehand, so I am. But just to acknowledge that it's like, it's a little bit hard to jump ahead. But what I do feel already in this is that, just like with anything, even though the energy of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is so powerful and so strong and has the potential to hold us in a way where we could have a certain level of like an instantaneous kind of switch in our being, in our body, we're human and we have earth bodies, and we need time to integrate, and we need time, it's a process. It's not a linear A to B experience. We're in a more of a cyclical and probably more of a spiral kind of experience. So what's so interesting to me is that then this powerful, highly Plutonian and Scorpionic full moon comes 3 days after this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and essentially gives us a moment, gives us an energy of continuing. Like maybe at that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, there's some beautiful, beautiful experience of feeling and knowing and seeing and dancing with our own unique soul song and the collective soul song. Again, I don't know what's going to come through in that channeling, for example, or what will happen for each of us individually, but that is a potential of that energetic of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And then we need support to carry that into our lives. So maybe when we come into that beauty of our own soul song, we're getting support at the time of this full moon, then to move through whatever other layers arise that are ready to be released. That, see, like a sense of, wow, I feel it and I know it, who I am on this soul song level. And then what maybe will happen, what maybe won't happen, I don't want to project anything, but it wouldn't surprise me if then certain things come up of doubt or fear or whatever it is, that's just like another layer comes up that's ready to be released. And this full moon has the energetic that will support that releasing and that letting go. And then here's the other component, the other kind of part 2 of that, that's just so beautiful. Because now let me show you where this all will fall in the actual sky. Okay, so again, this is Stellarium. So you can just look up Stellarium on the internet. This is a free website. where you can see in the sky where things fall, where planets are and stars are on any given day. Yeah, highly recommend it. Totally free. Really wonderful. Okay, so on April 23rd, the day of this full moon, the moon, first I'm going to show you where the moon is, then I'm going to show you where the sun is, because they're both actually speak to a really similar kind of energy. So the moon will have just gone through the constellation of Virgo, or the priestess, and it will be heading in toward the constellation of Libra. So the moon is in the seasonal sign of Scorpio, but it's actually in the constellation, kind of in between the constellation of Virgo, the priestess, and the constellation of Libra, or the scales. And Virgo, the constellation, and Libra actually historically have quite a strong relationship with each other, because one of the many stories of these stars is that Virgo, the priestess, is actually holding the scales. That, again, there are many versions of this, but that's one version. So these two constellations go together for lots of reasons, and among many other things, the energetic of the constellation of the priestess, or Virgo, as I've talked about in other videos, is very closely tied to the mythology of Astraea. And Astraea is, again, I've talked about her in other videos, so you can go back and see those, but I actually did a whole free talk on Astraea, which you also are welcome to watch. Astraea essentially was a goddess who lived on Earth in the Golden Age with all the other gods and goddesses and the humans. And then over time, the gods and goddesses got fed up once the Golden Age started to wane and the Earth started becoming much more violent and negative and toxic and all of that. And Astraea was the last of the immortals to stay on Earth, but finally she got also fed up with how difficult things were getting on Earth, and she finally, was the last one to leave. But when she left, she became the constellation of Virgo, or the priestess. And the priestess constellation is also associated with many other goddess figures. So not just Astraea. I mean, she's associated with, kind of the whole list of them. But Astraea is one of the main ones. And so then the other part of this Astraea mythology is that when the mythology says when Astraea returns to Earth, that will be the time, the golden age will come again. So for me, Astraea essentially is really an energetic of all of us, ourselves, as this bridge between the earth and the sky, and the earth and the stars, and the earth and light. We are light bringers, literally. We are beings of the stars, literally. The earth is made of the same thing the stars are made of. We're part of the cosmos. There's not a separation between us and the cosmos. We are literally the cosmos. We are part of the cosmos. There isn't another option. We just are. And Astraea energy helps bridge that and helps us remember that we're not separate. We are part of that totality. Again, among so many other things. So the moon will have just moved through the constellation of Virgo, or the priestess, and it will be heading toward the constellation of Libra. Okay, but then also what goes with that, so interestingly, is we then look at the sun. So up here you can type in anything you want to look at. So here now is the sun on the same day in the sky. And the sun is going to be, the sun will be in the seasonal sign of Taurus, but in the constellation, kind of in between the constellation of, it will have just finished its time in the constellation of Pisces. It will be in the beginning of the constellation of Aries, but also very, very, very close to, really with the constellation of Cetus, the whale. And Heather Ensworth just put out a video on the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction where she goes very deeply in, not very, anyway, she goes into the whole story of the mythology associated with Cetus the whale and Medusa and Perseus and all of that. So I'm not going to repeat that here. I highly recommend going and listening to Heather's video. It's really wonderful. But something so something that Heather talks about that matches also with that mythology of Astraea is that both Astraea and this Cetus the whale energy really, on one level, just helps us to ground back into and remember the power and the need to be present with and to remember and to re-embody the wisdom of the divine feminine, in addition to the divine masculine. But, and I'll say more about that in a second. But the other thing that comes alive for me when I feel where the sun is going to be, with Cetus the whale, and having come right out of Pisces, the fish, is that there's also this sense for me of, again, that soul song, right? If we're sitting here with the moon having just finished its time coming through essentially Astraea, which again reminds us of our connection between earth and sky, earth and the stars, earth and light as one. And it reminds us of ourselves as divine feminine and divine masculine. And then the sun is sitting here having just moved through the fishes or Pisces, which connects us to the reality that we are the all that is. It's just entering the constellation of Aries, but it's sitting there with Cetus the whale. And as Heather talks about, again, go listen to her video because she knows, she's much more of an expert on this than me by far. There's an energy of the divine feminine being dishonored. Okay, so there's that whole layer to it, which I fully honor, and I fully feel like that is truly, truly important. On a deeper layer, for me, you see if you resonate with this or not, there's something about this whole theme of us, again, getting held and reminded of that soul song that is us, right? And then the sun being here, shining on that moon that has just moved through Astraea, the sun sitting with in the depths of the celestial sea, which is this whole part of the whole part of this whole part of the sky is called the celestial sea, including Cetus the whale, including Pisces, not Aries, but this, the sun is just finishing its time in the celestial sea, and it's sitting here with the whale in the celestial sea. Well, when I drop in and I really, am with that, the depths of the sea, the celestial sea with Cetus the whale, well, what comes alive? I mean, there is that story of absolutely, for sure, this, the divine feminine being violated, and all of that is one layer that's absolutely true. But a deeper layer is that, wow, that soul, that depth of soul song of the celestial ocean, of the literal oceans, of whale, of a celestial sea whale being, just even on that level, I feel this energy holding us and shining that light of the sun onto the moon that has just moved through Astraea. The sun is sitting there in the depths of the celestial sea with the whale. This deep, deep oceanic soul song that's true. Even if that soul song of this being, the whale, ourselves, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, all of it, even if various things have happened during this time of forgetting, which absolutely they have, definitely, they've happened, and it's been very traumatic and very difficult and, for eons. But that deep soul song is still here. Like if we think of the whales, and I live right by the ocean, right? And I see dolphins pretty often when I go on my walks. I don't tend to see whales right from the shore of where I live, but there are tons and tons of whales right there. And I've seen whales when I've gone out on boats in the ocean here. I mean, they're right there. And I have channeled things regarding the whales, and it's just so powerful. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be part of what comes through in the channeling on Friday. I have no idea. There's so much there. I just wanted to name this and just even invite you to feel into, what do you feel here, right? Because actually, not only do we have Cetus the whale here with the sun, but again, the sun has just moved through the constellation of Pisces, and like I said in one of my solar eclipse videos, one of my many solar eclipse videos, not only, I mean, the sun was in the constellation of Pisces, but what fits right in between the two fish of Pisces is Pegasus. So Pisces, the fish, are being held by Cetus the whale and Pegasus. These like incredibly powerful, magical energies. With again, Cetus the whale, I'm just feeling it so strongly. This deep reminder, deep, deep, deep reminder that the soul song never goes away, no matter what. Even if Medusa's head gets cut off, and all of that, right? That happened. That's true in this certain way. And our deep soul song is always true. Also, we always are source itself. We always are the divine, as me, as you, no matter what. Okay. So yeah, so I think, I mean, that's the gist of what I felt called to really speak to. But I guess I'll just add one more layer, which is that I think there's something really beautiful and interesting about this time when we're being held to come into that soul song that is us. It's like I want to say there's a certain level of peace that we're being offered. That's what I feel in my body. It's a sense of yeah, there's a lot of layers here, and I could go on and on. I think what I'm called to say is just that we have, I mean, people of every gender. This is true for all of us. All of us. Okay. Each of us in our own unique ways have experienced being silenced or being, told not to use our voice, or that we're stupid, or that, you're just a girl, or whatever it is. Or, you shouldn't talk about that, your feelings, or whatever. We've been given various messages over eons. And I've said this also before, which is that is true. And we each are the only ones who can step into our actual power. So this is the other part of Pluto ruling that moon in Scorpio and squaring the moon and the sun, right? So again, the moon is going to be having, just gone through the constellation of Virgo or Astraea or priestess, whatever you want to call it, all of the above. And the sun will be in Taurus, the sign of Taurus, but really kind of in the area of the sky with having just moved through Pisces, just entering the constellation of Aries, but really also with Cetus the whale. And Pluto is squaring both of them. And Pluto is in Aquarius. So, and super important part. Yeah, I knew there was another layer to it. And Pluto is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which 3 days before that just had its Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, right? Okay. Then yeah, that was the other part. I could just go on and on. But so you get the point. So this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, that support to be getting held in our soul song, it's like bing. That's the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. That's why I feel the energy of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is like this very clear, like the striking of the tuning fork that is us, as by the divine, is going bing. And that song, that energetic, then touches off Pluto, because Uranus rules Aquarius, where Pluto is, and the bing touches off the song in Pluto, which is maybe more of a, like, I don't know, but something more like boom, right? And then that song is touches off the song of the moon and the song of the sun. And then the whole thing reverberates. And of course, it's reverberating with literally everything in existence. It's not just those components, but those components are particularly strong. And then that Pluto with that boom, that's an energetic that's deeper, that then can help us to come to in ourselves that deeper layer of, okay, I just felt and saw and heard my soul song. Great. And now there's this deeper layer of either my doubt or whatever it is, this other, layer of trauma or something that's ready to go, so that I can more and more and more and more and more completely and fully, totally step in as that soul song that is me, that incorporates the divine feminine, that incorporates the divine masculine, the beauty, the purity of myself as deep feminine, deep soul song, beautiful, deep divine masculine, both together, fully embodying exactly precisely who we each are. And again, so this full moon is just one more layer of supporting us to let go whatever needs to go, whatever is ready to go, just gently, 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 we can just let it go. And then what's so cool, then the next thing coming up, well, there's always so many things, but the next thing, the next lunation that's, really on my mind at least, is then we have a new moon coming up at around 18 degrees of Taurus. So not precisely where the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening, but pretty darn close. So it's like we have the song of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on April 20th, the bing, I forget what tone I used, but anyway, something like that, that touches off on the Pluto, the boom, that helps us to release whatever's ready to let go. Once we've really connected with our soul song, we have those layers ready to let go. And then that new moon happens in Taurus, 18 degrees of Taurus, right near where that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happened. And then we're ready to perhaps sing our song in a whole new way. And during that time, like the Mercury retrograde is doing its thing, and there's other stuff going on, which won't, I don't want to drag this video out forever and ever. But, so it's not only that. Again, it's so many things happening at the same time, but it's just so beautiful. The whole picture is so beautiful. And it's really all about you as a song, me as a song. That's the bottom line. It's all supporting that. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to sing with you. Probably not literally, because on Zoom that's hard to do, but but energetically, absolutely. I'm so moved. I mean, I'm so touched and so moved, really, by your comments and by hearing from many of you. The things coming alive in you is just like, wow. Because as I've said directly to many of you, the point of this is not, it is not, the point of this is not for me or anyone to be some kind of guru on a pedestal, right? Like discovering the answers and announcing it to the world and then having people bow at my feet or something. Probably been there, done that. Probably lots of us have been there, done that in other lifetimes. That's not what this lifetime is about for me. This is in this time of remembering, this is about us each getting the opportunity to, the world needs us each to be the guru, to be that exact song that is each of us, right? So the goal maybe used to be in previous times, more in the, what I would call the time of forgetting, is more of the goal being to find the guru on the pedestal who can save that something and whatever. And then that has its place and that has served certain things. This time, in this time, at least what I'm called to hold space for very powerfully is not that. It is what I just could cry about is the vision I have, the feeling I have, and what I feel happening is that each of us is going to be waking up to this soul song that is each of us. And then, like, I can feel it already, that it's like you as the divine tuning fork, and then you as the divine tuning fork, and you and you and you and you and you and you and you. We're all going to be in this crescendo, right, of more and more and more and more beauty, singing, coming alive with all this, whatever we've gone through. And again, whatever our gender identity happens to be, we've all gone through various ways in which that soul song has not been encouraged to be known or to sing. And now it is. And I mean, I think it's been an incredibly long time since our soul songs have been encouraged to sing on this planet together in that way with each other. And but that is absolutely literally what I'm here to be and to do. And I feel and I hear from so many of you where that is coming alive in you, and that is just amazing. It's literally what this world needs. And it comes back to the video, if you haven't seen it, the one I did, one of the many I did on the solar eclipse about We Are the World, that song. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. It's, yeah, it just makes me cry every time I think about that song now, because you all really, really responded to that video. And yeah, I love feeling what's coming alive in all of you, all of us. And such an honor. It's such a joy. It's, exactly what I'm here to do on this planet, is to be part of this with all of you, and to be the mother of my children. That's number one. This is number two, but No, no, it's all this actually kind of all the same thing. I'm here to hold space for their soul song primarily, top priority, of course, um, and then soul song of all of us. So good. Can't wait till we sing more and more and more and more and more and more together. I can't even imagine what's going to come alive. It's so good. All right. Thank you each so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate it if you enjoy it, if you click the like. And I really, really appreciate it when you comment and let me know what resonated or didn't resonate or whatever. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would love for you to subscribe. Again, if these videos resonate for you, that's super supportive for me. It seems like a little thing, but it's actually really supportive for me. And sign up for the free gathering on April 19th. Again, if you're hearing this after the fact, that's great too. That's fine. It's going to be recorded. So that will be Friday, April 19th, 10 a.m. Pacific, both live on Zoom and recorded. And I will be sending out the Zoom link the day before. But it'll also be there if you sign up anytime. All right. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate every single one of you. And see you soon.